Bernie Sanders surrogate Nina Turner recently went on Chris Cuomo Prime Time where she was told by a white Joe Biden surrogate that she did not have the standing to invoke the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's take a look at this, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
And Hilary, on your side, what you have to deal with is decades of controversial votes that look bad. And that go along with stories of commitment to social justice and moments in his past that may not be accurate. And each one will be pointed out by the president. You did the crime bill. Obama was thinking about it when he was like 11 or whatever the president said today, that Obama was thinking about the crime bill too. I know it's BS, but it's how Biden deals with it. You said you were arrested when you were with Mandela. I don't think so. You say that you were trained to be a protester and suffered. We don't think so. How do you deal with the record of votes and of stories that don't hold up?
You know, Nina referenced Dr. Martin Luther King before, saying that he said from the Birmingham jail that we should be concerned about white moderates. That's actually not what Martin Luther King said. What he said is we should be worried about the silence of white moderates.
Are you kidding me?
Nina, wait.
No, she's making a language point.
What he said was we should worry about the silence of white moderates. And what we have in Joe Biden is a man who is not silent. He has a long record, and many votes that in today's world feel like the wrong thing were the wrong thing, and he has discussed that over and over again, as Bernie Sanders did on the gun votes and other things. So we can be talking about votes from 20 years ago, or we can be talking about people's values and who they trust.
Last quick point.
And that's what Joe Biden's going to be talking about.
Last quick point to you, Nina.
What Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about, he said, it is the point that the white moderate wants things to be comfortable, and instead of focusing in on that, the bigger threat is not necessarily the white KKK member, but more the white moderate that is more comfortable with keeping things the same or pretending like there is no tension.
Don't use Martin Luther King against Joe Biden. You don't have that. You don't have that standing.
First of all,
I'm sorry, you don't.
Don't tell me what kind of standing I have as a black woman in America. How dare you?
You have a lot of standing as a black woman in America. You don't have the standing to attack Joe Biden using Martin Luther King's words.
I didn't attack anybody. You're taking it that way. Listen, don't dip into what I have to say about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. How dare you, as a white woman, sit up here and try to tell me?
That is not what I said.
Try to tell me
what
I'm
supposed to feel and what I'm doing right now.
I'm out of time on this.
That's something. Chris, I didn't jump in on her,
Nina,
though. And then she wants to jump in on me.
Okay.
And give me a
it's not nobody's jumping in on anybody. You guys are in the same party. This is what you guys have to figure out. You're in the same party.
And Bernie Sanders is hitting back. He went on Twitter to say, Joe Biden must accept responsibility for his surrogate, telling our campaign co-chair, Senator Nina Turner, that she does not have the standing to invoke the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. That is unacceptable, and Joe Biden must apologize to Nina and to all the people of color supporting our campaign. Wow, that's a really good response, especially when you consider the fact over the past few days we've been seeing a lot of progressives, sort of saying, "Hey, look, Bernie, if you want to win this thing after Super Tuesday, what you got to do is you got to be more aggressive against Joe Biden. You have to call out Joe Biden," and that's what we're seeing now. I don't think if this happened a few days prior, I don't think we would have seen such a sharp response from Bernie in this way because, of course, they've always been saying to us this whole time, "Hey, look, Bernie, you need to call out the toxic Bernie bros. You need to call out everybody for sending snake emojis. It's your fault. It's your fault for cultivating that culture." Now, Bernie Sanders is able to turn the tables on Joe Biden and say, "Look, you need to apologize for this. You need to apologize for this." And by the way, Chris Cuomo on Friday, because that clip was on Cuomo's Thursday show, on Cuomo's Friday show, Chris Cuomo agreed. Chris Cuomo said, "Yeah, Joe Biden, you should apologize for this." He agreed that Joe Biden should apologize. So I doubt that we're going to see that, but this is also really good strategy because even though it's unlikely that we get an apology from Joe Biden, if we do, basically that's an extra news cycle, right? So it's unlikely that we get an apology, but on the off chance we do, you get an extra news cycle of people watching that. Now, I do want to be fair to Hilary Rosen here. She did, actually, first, before I show you her apologies, she sent out this tweet right afterwards, which was basically her doubling down. Now, she deleted the tweet, so I'm actually not able to click on it, but this was sort of my tweet responding. You can find my Twitter handle in the description. But since she deleted, I can't get it in big letters anymore. But initially, she responds back, in a letter from the Birmingham jail, Dr. Martin Luther King said that he was most afraid of and disappointed in white moderates who sought peace over justice. And Joe Biden seeks justice, so must we all. So she's sort of doubling down on what she initially said. Now, again, she did delete this tweet. And also, this is also misleading because that's actually not what Dr. Martin Luther King said. He was specifically saying, he was specifically calling out the white moderates who were seeking peace over justice. So, I mean, this is actually like really, really misleading when you read it in its context. But regardless, Hilary Rosen did apologize, and this was her initial apology here, which she also deleted because this is not a good apology. I'm going to show you why. It's pretty obvious, actually. But Hilary Rosen's apology on air Thursday, I said that my colleague Nina Turner did not have the standing to use Martin Luther King, and that was wrong. I am sorry for saying those words. Please no need to defend me and attack an angry black woman. They have standing. I always needed to listen more than I talk. We rise together. Obviously, you see what's wrong with that apology. She's calling Nina Turner an angry black woman, or at least she's appearing to. I mean, that's, as far as apologies go, that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Now, she did clarify what she meant, that apparently she didn't mean to call Nina Turner an angry black woman. She says here, I'm horrified that anyone would think that I would call Nina Turner an angry black woman. I would never. After the TV hit last night, I was getting tons of ugly messages and keep fighting her using that phrase. I was trying to tell people to stop because I knew that I needed to apologize. She does seem to apologize, though. Regardless, she did seem to give out a decent apology. She says, I unequivocally know that I disrespected her, and I wanted to make it right by telling disgusting white folks to stop. Wow, did that tweet go wrong? I am so sorry. I've called Nina to apologize directly. Whether or not she takes my call, I am still humbly sorry. And previously, she also said, good morning. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Nina, her experience as a person of color, and the fight which she's waging in this election. Wake up this morning to this. I apologize, and I take full responsibility. I look forward to the rest of the primary season seeking common ground. So, you know, I mean, this is a little bit of a little bit of whiplash here, because at first she doubled down and then she apologized after Bernie Sanders demanded that Joe Biden apologize. And so who knows what sort of really went down. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, she is being genuine in her apology or she isn't. Honestly, only she knows whether or not she's genuine in her apologies. So I'm not going to, sit here and pontificate on her personal feelings. But it does seem like she did have a little bit of issue getting out the apology. Now, what we do need to talk a little bit about here, though, is just the fact that, like, just the privilege of her in that moment to say, you don't have a right to say that. You don't have an ability to say that. Like, her as a white, like, she needs to recognize her privilege. Now, I know that, like, some people, when you say privilege, like, some people get kind of offended, because it is true that the privilege card is sometimes invoked cynically to try to, like, check people from ever expressing their opinion. But in that case, I mean, you just saw it. That was, that really was not right of her to just tell Nina Turner that she doesn't have the right to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King. So I do think that is a clear instance of her honestly just using her privilege. But again, she did apologize, so take that for what it's worth. But she did have a very hard time getting out that apology. So anyway, if you like the video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thanks.